Hello everyone! I'm using a heart-shaped stone made from the molds from Happy Dotting Company. If you visit Happy Dotting Company on Etsy, make sure you use my discount code Rachel's Rocks Canada. You can get more than just molds for your rocks, trust me. So I just wanted to make another fancy heart. You guys saw one of my mandala hearts before. If you haven't seen it, I will post a link in the description below so that you can take a look at that one as well. This one, I waited a week or maybe even a little bit more before painting it red because you want to make sure it's completely dry after making it. So it's been drying for just over a week. I'm painting it with nice deep berry wine. I'm just going to use a different variety of reds that I have at my desk. But the base coat is a deep red, and then I'm going to do black on the back. I know this seems weird, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do black on the back, and then I'm going to like blend it into the red. And yeah, we're going to make it shine. We're going to make it glitter. We're going to put some chrome powder on it. And then we're going to seal it with resin after we do some gold. Of course, you know me in gold. So this one's going to be a short one, and it's super simple, and you can really do whatever color you want. You don't have to do red. I just had the urge to do like a bright red heart, or a deep red heart, I should say, and with like a nice gold design on it. So I thought I would try and see if you guys want to try. Now, if you don't have a heart-shaped stone or a molded stone, you can just draw a heart on a stone or a canvas or a piece of wood or whatever it is that you're working with, and then you can do the same thing that I'm doing within the heart that you drew. So I'm using finger sponges. I will leave a link in the description for the package of 40 finger sponges that I bought from Amazon. They're amazing. And a little tip, keep like a bottle of water beside you when you're using your sponges, and keep like a little bit of tap water in it. And when you're done using that sponge for that color, throw that old yucky paint covered sponge into the bottle of water, shake it up, and leave it there until you're done using all your sponges. And then each color you use a new sponge, right? Don't use the same sponge for every color. It's not going to work out. So yeah, if you are busy working with a bunch of sponges, just throw them in a bottle of water, and that will keep them from the paint drying on them and ruining them. And then you just go wash them out with soap afterwards. Throw some soap in that water bottle and shake it all up. That's what I have at my desk. My son's always like, ooh, what kind of juice is in that water bottle? And I'm like, not juice, buddy. That's paint. Paint water. Don't drink that. So I'm using like a little empty, or not empty, I guess it's full, a roll of tape. I'm using it to put like a little semicircle on the end of my red heart. So you can see I blended the black around the outsides into the red, and then I just kind of got lighter on the inside of the heart. So it gets darker on the outsides, but it gets lighter when you come on the inside. So you might have to use a couple of different shades of red. I don't feel like I did this bright enough. I'm hoping that when I resin it, it looks brighter. But you're going to have to do a couple of coats of red on there, and you're going to have to use a lot of sponges and do a lot of blending to get that red to blend nicely with like smoothly into the black. So I'm using, I used Apple Red by Folkart, Berry Wine by Folkart, and of course black. So I've let it dry. I did my semicircle with my tape roll. You can use whatever you feel you want to use. You don't even have to do the same design that I'm doing. Promise you that whatever you do will look beautiful. Now you can slow the video down because it's going quite fast, but you do your own design. I did some bigger dots, then I walked the dots around those dots, tried to do them evenly apart. Then I did some wishbones. You guys know I like putting the wishbones in my mandalas. And now I did like a little semicircle or like a swoop from one wishbone to the other. And then I'm going to pinstripe it. So I start in the center on either side, then I go in between those ones, and I just kind of try and do it that way to keep them as evenly apart as I can without using any funky tools, because I'm not good with funky tools. I like just using my hands and my imagination. So now I'm going to lessen the sharpness on these wishbones and put a little dot on there. Now I'm going to do another walking the dots around those bigger ones, but I'm using like a dotting needle from the pinkchair.ca. So if you're wondering what that is, it is a dotting needle. And it does pretty small dots, but you can also use like a toothpick or the end of a larger sewing needle. Those are fun. So I'm going to do some little curly cues, and I'm going to mess them up. They're not going to be perfect, but I can just go in a little bit with some bright red and fix some areas if I made a big mess. But if you take your time and you go easy on yourself, it'll be more about having fun with it. So don't worry too much. It is hard to manage curly cues with a paintbrush, but I've had a few years of practice, so don't expect for everything to be as easy as I make it look sometimes. But I promise you, it's taken a lot of practice for this to not for this to look so easy to you guys. That's what I mean. So now I've got some more dots going on. I walked the dots around those bigger dots, just like the other ones at the beginning. Very simple, and they're not all the same size, and some of my dots bleed against another one, and it looks like a little log, like a little Yule log. But it's made of gold, so I still don't mind it. Now I'm doing some little dots here. It's kind of like I'm doing like a pin striping. I made a mistake there, and luckily I had a Q-tip right by me, and I was able to wipe off that gold paint real quick and not make a big mess. Basically, I'm pin striping the bottom of the heart, but I'm using dots to pin stripe it. So you're gonna see the striped effect, but it is little teeny weeny dots. That's all it is. And you'll be able to see them. They're going to be down along the side, getting closer to the bottom. And I'll show that to you a little bit. I wanted to have this out a lot earlier, guys. I'm sorry. It was supposed to be up yesterday. It's going up today instead. I hope you still love me. So I did kind of like hearts around. I surrounded the curly cues and the dots and did kind of like a heart there. And now I'm going to dot, and I'm just going to start at the tip of the heart and walk up. And once I run out of paint, I move on to the next side. I don't worry about it. I just run out of paint and move along to the next side. They get smaller as you run out of paint. So now we're going to do some pointy things. I don't know the technical term for these. What shall we call them? Leave in the comments what you want to call these. And now I'm going to soften the tips of those because I don't like anything too sharp in my mandalas. And now I'm going to do some swooshes. What do you call these? Swooshes? Swishes? I don't know. I just start with a big blob of paint and then I drag it out in the direction that I want it to go. And that takes some practice too, but practice is fun. So I'm dotting at the end of those swooshes, just 2 little dots. I don't want to do too much. So I'm going to take my little teeny weeny dotting needle again, and I'm going to do like a V of small dots just around that area. You can do whatever you want, okay? So you do whatever you want on whichever color heart you decide you want to have. So I'm done. I think I'm going to be done with my gold. I'm going to add some black dots to the bigger dots that you see in my design. I'm also going to put some black on the swooshes, like smaller, but I don't want to do the black so big that you lose the gold. Make sure you try and keep the background with the gold there. And I'm going to try and swoosh smaller swooshes of black. And then I'm going to be using some chrome powder. You guys have seen me use chrome powder before. If you haven't, I will list a couple of tutorials in the description of this video where I have used chrome powder in different ways. This time I am using a no wipe top coat. It's you have to cure it using a UV lamp. I get these from Amazon as well, very inexpensive. I put a little bit of the top gel on some wax paper, and then I'm using my dotting tool to dot on top of all the black dots. Make sure your black dots are dry before you do this, and then I'm going to cure it. And depending on your top coat gel and your lamp, you have to read the directions so that you know how long it takes for you to cure that. And then you just use whichever color of chrome powder you want, but I'm using a red chrome powder, which I also got from Amazon. And then I rub it on to all the spots that I put the top coat. You can't see it very well under this light, but I cure it. I put the powder on, and then I brush off any extra with my little desk broom. So that's all you got to do. And I'm also going to do it on the swooshes and these little pinstriped areas right here. I'm not painting black there first, but I am putting the top coat in there. And then I'm going to put the chrome powder on top of that as well. So that's going to be a different contrast that you'll be able to see a lot better once I seal it with resin at the end. So it takes like a couple minutes to do this part. Doesn't take very long at all. And once you're done, everything, just make sure everything is dry. All your gold is dry. Well, definitely make sure that your gold and black are dry before you try and do this part, because when you use your desk broom or your fan brush, you don't want to wipe away all your beautiful artwork. So make sure it's all dry. Now this glitter, this chrome powder, is very, very fine. It's kind of like a dust, like a fairy dust. So I'm just kind of making sure that there's a little bit of that fairy dust all over this heart. It's just kind of stuck to the paint everywhere. You can see it kind of glistening. And now it's time for resin. Look at that. You guys, this is fantabulous. I really, really like it. I think the contrast between like the gold and the red and the black and the glitter, there is a little bit of glitter. You know I love glitter. And that chrome on the pinstriping and everything. It's so hard for you to see the beauty in this when you're not holding it in your hands and looking at it with your eyes. But this was really fun. I'd love to do more colors. If you're interested, let me know. Give it a try and hit the thumbs up for me, guys. Love you.